Okay, third and final step of cellular respiration. All right, so we did glycolysis first. We broke down glucose and got some ATP, and we got some pyruvic acid. ATP, our body used or did whatever with it, stored it, whatever we needed. The pyruvic acid went to the Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle. Okay, we broke that down. We got a couple of ATP out of that, but mostly we got electron carriers, the FAD and the NADH. Okay, so now we have to break those down to get our ATP out of them, because that's the energy that we can use in our body. Okay, so remember, this part happens in the mitochondria. This strip here that I have represents the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Remember that the mitochondria has an outer membrane and an inner membrane. It's a double membraned organelle. Okay, so what happens is that we've made all this stuff. Now we got to start converting it. So what happens is NADH comes in, okay, and it interacts at protein 1 because there's one of each of those letters. Okay, so what it does is it interacts at protein 1, all right. In knocking off our hydrogens, we have the electrons. So we have a couple of electrons that help push these hydrogen ions, let me grab them here, into the inner membrane space. So this is the inside of the mitochondria, okay? So we've got that. Now we also have FADH2 that we made in the Krebs cycle, and it interacts, because there's a 2 here, it interacts at protein 2. That's how you remember it, all right? So in doing that, it also pushes with the help of 2 electrons, okay? It helps to push 2 more hydrogen ions into the inner membrane space, okay? Inside the mitochondria, because you got a buildup of hydrogen ions, this ATP synthase right here, which is another enzyme, and synthesis is making, so we're making ATP, all right? So in doing that, this buildup of hydrogens causes this to start working, spinning, turning, whatever you want to call it, okay? So that makes ADP that you have in your body turn back into ATP, so that gives us energy, all right? So it gives us that adenosine triphosphate. That's our energy that we readily use, okay? So we've converted something that was an electron carrier into ATP. But here's where we make the last thing, okay? Because we're breathing and we're pulling oxygen into our body, we have 4 hydrogens here. We combine that with 2 more oxygens, and hydrogen and oxygen gives us water, okay? So we sweat. We give off water when we breathe. Some people spit when they talk, okay? All that water comes from this system right here, the electron transport chain, which is the 3rd step in our cellular respiration. Okay, so this one's a much easier process. Again, if you have the general idea, you're good to go there. What you need to remember is that for each NADH that goes in, okay, you get 3 ATP produced out of that. For each FADH2 that goes into this system, the electron transport chain, you get 2 ATP. So as we have it set up here, I had 2 NADHs coming in, so 2 times 3 is 6, okay, and then I had 1 FADH2 times the 2 that it makes, so 6 plus 2 would be 8. So in this setup right here that I just did, I would have made 8 ATP. Okay, so you have to remember that when you're doing your totals, and you have a whole separate set of notes to do your ATP totals from cellular respiration.